And good morning. We are live today. So glad that you're joining me. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to spend with Pastor Bob. Just saying. So, folks, we got a great show today. Christian Tapper will join me in just a few minutes. Some of you may remember him from a podcast that we called Love Bound. He did over 100 podcasts on that topic, and he was looking for love before he even met his wife. He talked about it, and now he's about to have child number two. So we're going to catch up with Christian, find out what he's up to. Got a band interview today with As We Are. Great band, and you're going to want to hear all of that and all of our cool stuff as we continue. Folks, don't forget, if you're just joining us, let me know where you're watching from. I love that part. I love to see where people are watching from. And let me know. Just write it there. Whether you're on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this, just write down the city and the state and the country or whatever that you're from, and we'd love to acknowledge you as well. Well, it's a great day here in Nashville. A little cloudy, a little rainy, still warm, and way too humid. Too humid for me. I don't enjoy that part of it, but we'll take what we get. So, got some great things to announce today. Got some great things to talk about. A lot of things on my heart today that I can't wait to share with you. So, once again, if you're just tuning in, would you let me know where you're watching from? Emma, God bless you. She is so regular here on the show. Good morning, Emma from Montana, my good friend, the mom of Mangled Carpenter Guys, the band, and some of you know the band, and she's a great person. Lorianne Grace is here. Good morning from Lebanon, Tennessee, next town over. That's awesome. And we have him from near and far. David Kelly White is here. Good morning from Littleton, Colorado, 54 degrees there. It's a little warmer here, actually, but that's good for Colorado. And Becky is here this morning from Gordonville, and which is here in Tennessee as well. Good to have you here also, Becky. We got some Tennessee people here today. James is here from San Antonio, Texas. Love our Texas folks. Great place, great city, by the way. I love San Antonio. And Texas is one of my favorite places, so that's awesome. Folks, if you're just joining us, please sign in. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from. I would love to know that. So I have a great co-host today, and I don't want to spend too much more time before I invite him to come on with me. I've known Christian for a long time. We'll talk about that. We have so much to talk about. Christian, are you there? My co-host, Christian Tapper.
Yes, I sure am. What's up, everybody? Good to see you guys. Or not see you, but...
Christian, I'm going to adjust my screen a little bit. There we go.
Go for
it. It almost looks like I have a halo, which of course I do. But, yours I think are on the side. Over there, kind of on the side of you. Yeah.
Is that better?
There you go.
Perfect.
Well, Christian, you and I have been friends for a long time. You and I met when you were how old?
14.
Yeah. And how old are you now?
38. I'm about to be 39 in August. So it's coming up on, it's like 25 years.
Well, yeah. I've known you half of your life.
More than half of my life.
Wow.
There's been more life with Pastor Bob than without.
Yes. So you and I met at a festival that we were doing way up in northern Sweden, in Piteå, Sweden.
Yes.
Christian, that's so far up that the sun doesn't really come up in the winter and it doesn't really go down in the summer, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So, but that was just normal for me. That's where I grew up with. So I never thought about it.
Yeah. You just grew up like that.
Yeah.
Right. And so, Christian, let's bring it forward.
Yeah.
You now live in Finland. Tell us about
Yes.
that.
Yes, I do. By the way, I bought this T-shirt when we met. You remember that? You brought it was the second year of the festival. Disciple came and played, and I got this T-shirt. I still have it. So
Yes, yes, yes.
this T-shirt is like as old as our relationship. So,
I remember
but
actually
yeah,
Disciple did a Swedish tour with me that year.
yes,
Um, and about two or three different festivals. I can't remember, but yes, that was great memories, huh?
great memories. Great
Yes.
memories. And my wife found this, and she's like, "This is really cool." And she started wearing it, and now
Well, it's good
it's
for
still
that.
around.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. So yeah, sorry, you asked about Finland. What that is like, or how I ended up here.
Yes. Yes. So, what brought you to Finland? Well, besides your wife, which is obvious.
Well, pretty much my wife. I mean, I never thought I would ever move to Finland, even though Sweden and Finland are very close to each other. I hadn't really been very much in Finland, maybe like twice in my entire life. And there are similarities between the cultures, but they're quite different as well, especially kind of amongst the people. So, um, but when we got married, it was just kind of a natural thing that we would live in this town, which is called Rovaniemi. It's right on the Arctic Circle, which is a little bit farther up north where I'm from. And my wife is 3 hours north of here. That's where she's from. So this is kind of a good, it's actually 3 hours from both of where we're from. So it's kind of, fair for both of our parents, now that we have a grandkid and
Yeah.
second one on the way. So, and we just like this town. It's great. It's a nice size. It's close to the airport, and just it's kind of an up and coming city. So it's really fun. Or
So,
town in the U.S. It would be more like a town, not
yeah, so you
city.
can fly away whenever you need to then.
Exactly. Exactly.
I like that. Well, Christian, we got a lot to unpack today. We have a lot
Yeah.
of history. We have a lot of things that, you know, people want to know. What?
Where to begin? Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know what people want to know, but yeah, let's go for it.
yeah. So, Christian, not only have we known each other for a long time, but we've worked together for quite a few years as well. And, one of the monumental things that you were involved with was this book called Seriously. And it's letters to myself at 21, but I had your help and Simon Strunza and Thomas Norgard and who else was in this? Um,
Gosh, Simon? Oh, you say Simon. You told it.
Jordan,
Yeah.
Jordan Sanders.
Jordan. Yeah, Jordan. Yes.
Yeah, Jordan Sanders, and you guys kind of helped me think through it. What would be those issues that I should talk about, and so your picture is actually on the back of this, and I don't know why I'm wearing a party hat there, but I am, and
I don't know.
yeah. But anyway, so this week,
I love that.
Christian, the new one came out, and
Yes.
I'm very excited for this. This is the devotional edition, and it will replace the other one actually. And this is exactly the same book, but with questions, things to ponder, things to think about, and then scriptures to look up. So it can be a daily devotional as well. But excited to have that out, and again, similar pictures, but a little different. And so anyway, just wanted to acknowledge that you were very much a part of this happening, and that was great. So,
Very
Chris,
exciting.
do you realize it was 9 years ago that book came out?
I'm beginning to. I remember I was in Norway when I got it. You sent it to me. I was working in Norway at the
Yes,
time. I remember that. It was very exciting.
yes, at a little bit of time ago.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was back in the day when I used to spend a lot of time in Nashville with you. I would work in Norway for like 3
yes,
months, come over to Nashville for 3 months, help out
yeah.
with the homeless, started my video series there and everything. So it was a really fun time.
Well, and it really was such great memories.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the video series for a minute. Now, you didn't just do that video series, but we had the Wise Guys podcast where we had Chris Dorman and Jamie and quite a few guys sitting around talking about spiritual issues, and we did quite a few of them. You were on that round table as well, and with the Wise Guys. And then, Christian, you started your own podcast called Love Bound. And tell us the premise of that podcast. You did over 100 of those episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, I did over 100 episodes, and it was started in 2003, and I think it went on until I would say like 2 years or something, and then there were a couple of episodes after that, but like very sporadic, but something along those lines. And it was just basically I always had a passion to talk about relationships, helping people with relationships, and because I was really curious in figuring it out for myself as well. So the premise of it was just to talk about these different things that goes through people's minds when, especially when they're single. Like I didn't want to make something after I was married. I wanted to make something while I was still single. No one even on the horizon. Like I was years before I met my wife and all that. So basically talking about every single issue that that I could think of that someone would come up when it comes to love and sexuality, relationships, dating, all those things.
Right.
So, and I also had some guests here and there, but mostly it was kind of solo episodes. You were on one of them, and we talked about celibacy.
Yeah, I was. I remember.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know that many celibates, so it had to be you.
Yes. So you talked a lot about relationships and the kinds of things you were looking for. How important do you feel like that information was when you then discovered your wife? Did you kind of know who you were looking for at that point, or?
Yes and no. So I think I had some kind of non-negotiables just when it comes to, obviously it has to be not only a Christian and have those type of values, but really like similar family values and like be really like on fire for Jesus was very important to me. And so they're kind of like those types of things, the non-negotiables that you just kind of, and some of it is kind of, you can't really explain it. You just have to like fit together and be wanting to create, like have a life together. That you see that there's something here to build on. But then there's also like a wish list, obviously. Oh, I'd love if, this and this and that and all that. I even wrote a list actually years back, probably even before or around the time I like started that the Love Bound series.
Yes.
So yes, I think it's important to know what you're looking for, but it's even more important just to prepare yourself, like to not focus so much on the other person because you can't really control that, but just focus on your own growth with the Lord, because this really is a unique time when you're single to grow as a Christian, and just you learn a lot about yourself. You can really fully devote yourself to what the Lord has. Like, I'm not saying that marriage takes away that, but it's just a completely different dynamic. And I really enjoyed my single years. It was really fun. Sometimes it was difficult. There was a lot of rejections along the way, but I think
you always had a yearning to be connected to your wife.
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of conversations about this. I did, even though sometimes I'm sure I've told you like a million times, like, you know what, I think I'm just gonna be single. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So it was definitely a journey. And
I would say, no. I don't think you're celibate, Christian.
Yeah, I guess I just tried, like, let's see if this works, because if I go at it too hard, that doesn't seem to work. So if I just do like reverse psychology, maybe that will work.
Yeah.
Lord.
But so you started this podcast.
Yeah.
You wanted people to get a sense of your journey. Really, that's what it is. The thing that people might not know about you is that you are a journaler. You like to journal. You like to write. You like to talk about things that are happening. And for a lot of years, you kept a journal. You probably still do of sorts, I'm sure.
Yes, in some way, like I kept the journal for a long time. Like every day I would journal. and like
Yes.
sometimes for like half an hour, 45 minutes. And now I just don't have that time. Or I shouldn't say have that time, but I have other things I prioritize. I basically just, I think after some time that I've been dating Heta, I was just like, this is just too much. Like, I don't know. I just,
Right.
that's it. That's too much. But yeah, I
Yeah.
do have like those first initial months when we met. I have a lot of that written down.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
but I've always liked writing. So
the beginning of your podcast was really a kind of a video journal, wasn't it? Your thoughts on what marriage might be, your thoughts on what you're looking for. And I also remember, Christian, that one of the things that you realized early on was that as much as you were praying for a godly wife, you realized that she was praying for a godly husband and you needed to be that person. And was that a big deal for you to realize that?
to realize exactly what do you mean to realize that like we're two in
That you
this or
needed to become the person that she's praying for as well.
yeah, I mean, I don't know that it was like a specific moment and I realized that, or I can't remember. Was there maybe a particular time when we talked about this? Like I can't remember, but it was definitely like a journey of just like realizing that there was never like a, at least I can remember like a particular moment with something clicked, but you're on that journey and you're just going towards it and growing along the way. And I think, yeah, just that tension of longing, but also being satisfied with where you're at. Like you don't want to be
Yes.
desperate. I always knew that. Like I can't be desperate because then I'm gonna find someone else who's also desperate, and it's probably not a good place to be in.
And do you think that when you stopped feeling desperate or feeling overly concerned about it, that was the beginning of an honest search? That's when you found your wife.
Yeah. I mean, there's been. I heard many people told me like, well, because I got to this point many times. Like, okay, I feel like I'm just happy no matter what. Like, I'm gonna stop searching or whatever it was. Like that happened so many times that people are like, yeah, that's usually when people meet someone, and it didn't happen the first time. It happened maybe the 20th time. But the thing is, I never found my wife. She found me, so I was not searching for her. She wasn't searching for me, but she found me. So sometimes that's what happens. Actually, my mom told me that. Like, I think someone is maybe gonna find you. I was like, oh, really? That's what happened. So
I love that, dude. Well, and then you got married, and
yeah, the day after,
you
right away.
married not only your wife, but you married your best friend, which is awesome too. That's
Yes,
very close. And she's
still
also,
true.
we had her on this show last week on our Mother's Day show. Uh,
Yes.
we did three generations: my mom, Sherry Mancaruso, and your wife, Hedda. It, you have a little boy that is just about as cute as he could be. His name is Angel. And you have another one on the way, another boy on the way.
Another
So,
boy on the way.
yeah, that's awesome, dude.
This is
So,
about to get crazy here.
how has how has your life changed becoming a husband and then becoming a father?
Really good question. So they kind of change in a little bit different ways, in my opinion. Like for me, becoming a husband, like I really had to really step it up, like what it means to be a man, and that partly comes from you were just being challenged because you're put in this position now that you're gonna, lead, um, you're a woman and all that, and also just her affirming my masculinity and just really like respecting me as a leader. So, and really kind of pushing me into that direction, like encouraging me. That was definitely a very, that was a huge thing for me. So that's kind of,
Mm.
step one. And it's an ongoing process, it's still ongoing, obviously. And then when you become a father, it's really interesting because she has all these feelings, when she's pregnant, we're expecting Angel and all that. But I really didn't feel anything. Like I thought I would feel something, but I didn't feel anything when she was pregnant. It was like, I don't know. Like she has all these feelings. She's already connected. He's growing inside of her. But the moment he was born, man, just the amount of love,
Mm.
just wallowing. over me, like that you have for this
Did
little
that
little
catch
guy.
you off guard, Christian? Did it surprise you, the kind of love that you automatically had for your son?
Yeah, I mean, I guess people had told me about that, but you can't really prepare for it. Like, you don't know what it's going to feel like until
Mm,
you're there. And obviously, it might feel a bit different for everybody, but for me, it was instant. Like the moment he was born, it was just so strong. And I think now life just takes on a whole new meaning. Like everything I do, um, I want to make sure that I prioritize things that's actually going to build our family and grow our family. So that's one thing. That's like because you have less time, so the time you do have, you better make it like count. Because I mean, when I say less time, it's just because I want to spend time playing, with him, and
yes.
spend time with him. So it's really a wonderful thing. Like there's so much complaining about being a parent on social media. You're tired and this and that and all those things. And yeah, of course there's challenges, but I mean there was challenges and pain when I was single. It's just different type of pain back then. So I think one thing that a friend of mine told me that was really impactful was like, it's really a lot of fun. He has 3 kids. It's like, it's so much fun to have kids. And I was like, yeah, that's really cool to hear because everybody talks about how tired they are. It's so difficult, da da da. I
Right.
can't go to the movies whenever I want, whatever. But I just really, and it's so much fun. Like you're just like, he says funny stuff. I mean, I laugh every day. Someone
Awesome.
said, if you want to laugh a lot, then get a kid and a dog.
Yes. That's awesome.
So
And I've watched you just fall more and more and more in love with him.
yeah,
Yeah.
every
What a
day.
great opportunity for you to not only be a dad, but to embrace your whole family like you have. I'm excited for that. You know,
Thanks.
I still, and folks, you tell me what you think, but I still want Christian to do a podcast called Love Found because I think you have on the other side of it now so many things to share. So just putting that out there. What do you guys think? Would you like to see something like that? I'm putting Christian on the spot here.
Well, we actually did. I think we called it Love Found. Actually, we did a bunch of videos. Our first year of marriage, it was a little bit different than what I did before. It was like long format, kind of like a hangout for like an hour, and we talked about different topics and all
Yeah.
that. And we probably did about I don't know, a 10, 12 videos, if not more. So those are out there, I believe, on
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes.
But obviously you are referring to something else. We have to
I'm
figure
referring
out some
to continuing
love
that project.
pound or something.
Yeah. Let's continue. Yes.
Love's still
So,
around. Got to figure something out.
Christian, you still have a worldview, don't you? And I know that there are certain countries actually that are very much in your heart.
Mm,
Um, some of the countries in Asia.
yeah.
Um, Christian, you actually you have a company that deals with how to learn other languages. How many languages do you know now?
Well, it depends on what you define as a no, because I feel like I'm still learning my
How
native
many
language,
languages
Swedish.
converse in? Yes. How many languages can you converse in?
Well, the languages I can actually use in some kind of a meaningful way
Yes.
is Spanish. It's probably my weakest one, and then Swedish, English, Norwegian, Finnish, which is my wife's native language, which they speak here, very, very different from Swedish, and then Cantonese. So
Yes.
those are kind of the languages that I know. Like I know bits and pieces of other languages, maybe like how to say I want a cup of coffee or something like that, but I can't have like any type of conversation in those languages.
But that's so 6 languages you can carry on a conversation with, which is awesome. I think all of us, especially here when I can barely speak English and you're doing 6 languages, I think you're doing very, very well, dude. That's
Well,
awesome.
it's kind of hard, like because obviously I speak Swedish with my son only,
Yeah.
but I use a lot more English because me and Heta we were just so used to speaking English. We speak each other's languages. I speak Finnish, she speaks Swedish, and all that. But um, I mean, I find it sometimes I forget words or like they're not at the tip of my tongue. But obviously, never
Yes.
gonna, hopefully, not gonna forget your native language. I guess that could happen, but probably
Absolutely.
not. But I mean, you just kind of lose a little bit of vocabulary when you're not, especially if you're not like reading a lot. I find that is when,
Yes.
or just using it. But of course, yeah, Swedish. But it's good now that I have to think about how to say things, with my son because that's when I'm speaking with him.
Right. Remind me of the name of your company that helps people with languages.
So the business is called Linktuitive, and linktuitive.com is the website. I have a blog there, which is mainly what I do. I have also some YouTube videos that I have done in the past, not
Yeah,
currently doing any that I might in the future. But you can go to linktuitive.com. You can actually just go to christiantapper.com. That's probably easier if you don't know how is that spelled, linktuitive. So christiantapper.com is going to take you right there. And then
right.
there's blog
And
if you want
Christian,
some tips for how to learn languages.
yes, and people may not know that you're a very prolific drummer, and that's kind of one of your first loves is drumming, and
Yeah,
when you used to actually teach drums, and you're good at it. And there's so many sides to you. We could be on this all day, couldn't we? Talking about the many sides of Christian Tapper.
pretty much. I'm still learning about myself.
Yes. Well, Christian, you've had a lot of interesting jobs, and I like that you have a need and a desire to keep things interesting. And
Yeah.
the last job that you just had, and now you've moved on, is that you were actually a taxi driver for Tesla. Now that's interesting. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it was actually not, it was not like for Tesla, but we only drove Teslas. So that was the company only had that. And the town where I'm in, Rovaniemi, is actually a very big, it's like world famous for tourism. People come, they have Santa Claus here, they have dog sleighing, snowmobiling, like all sorts of outdoor winter activities.
Yes,
Because it's Lapland's like a winter wonderland and the Northern Lights, things like that. So people come from all over the world, and it's just crazy during like Christmas, even like up until March. There's so many tourists. So yeah, so I was a taxi driver, drove Teslas. It was super fun, one of the most fun jobs I've ever had, and just great to get to speak all these languages, on a daily basis. Pretty much, Chinese and Spanish every day, of course, Finnish and English as well, and
that's so awesome. And your
yeah.
language, your background in language has really helped you with that.
Yeah, definitely did, and it was super fun. It's really fun to have, like, you can have very meaningful conversations in just 10 minutes sometimes, and just
Yes,
asking people about their culture. Okay, where should I go if I visit your country? What's the best place to go? What should I eat? Sometimes you go even deeper than that and talk a little bit more about like the situation in those countries, and you really learn a lot if you just kind of ask a little bit of questions, and people are usually very willing to share about that, especially they're on vacation, very relaxed.
yeah,
So that was super fun just to get to know people from all over the world and just really learn a lot to see how different cultures like
yes.
operate and all that. And I've always been very interested in that, so
And
that was
Christian,
perfect.
you've done a lot of traveling, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. I've always been into traveling, and people always said that when I get married, well, that's when you're going to settle down. And then I found Heta, who's even, if possible, even more crazy about traveling than me. Like she will before me, like, okay, it's time to go. We need to go somewhere. Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
There you
so,
go. You got to,
so
you
yeah, so
got
we've traveled a lot. I mean, Angel has lived in 4 countries already. He's not even two. So,
yes. I think that's amazing.
so yeah,
So, folks, to know all things Christian Tapper, right here, you'll see it on your screen, christiantapper.com, and go there and check him out. He's got a lot of very interesting things there. So, Christian, you're taking a little bit of time out now,
yeah.
preparing for child number 2. How exciting is that? Are you ready?
Super fun. I guess that I'm not ready, but I will be ready the day that I see his
Yes.
face. And it's like that with a lot of things. So you're not really ready until the day of, if not the moment of. So
Yeah.
I think there's always this grace that comes from the Lord. And you might think, oh, how is this going to work out? There's that. But that's like 3 months from now or however long it is. So you will be ready when the time comes, or
Yeah.
or just you'll grow with the assignment. So but I am ready in the sense of that I'm super excited. It's really fun for Angel to have a play buddy, and that they're going to be kind of close in age, just 2 years between them. So
Yes.
that's super fun, and yeah, we're definitely very excited, and I think he knows that there's a brother. He talks about the baby and mom's tummy. So I don't know how much he understands, but
Oh, awesome.
we always pray for his sibling every evening, and lay our hands, and so he's very much
That's awesome.
he's involved. So
Well, he's a great kid, and you're a great kid. You're still a kid to me. I've known you for so long. I'm just the older I get, the younger everybody else seems to get.
but you're still a kid.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. You have always been like a
Yeah.
childlike heart, like in the best way possible. Because I think that's really cool. I aspire to be like you when I'm 70. So
Oh, bless your heart, and and Lord, just the good parts, not yeah. Christian, thank you so much for joining me, dude. It's always good to see you.
always good. Always good.
Miss you in person. We got to do that at some point, but
Yeah, that has been way too long.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be in Europe next March, and I'm hoping that we connect then at some point. That would be awesome.
that'd be awesome. Next March. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So, folks,
almost a year.
ChristianTepper.com. Check him out. He's awesome. Coming up next, As We Are, band interview. You're going to want to hear from these guys. Christian, thank you, my good friend. Appreciate you being on with us. We'll be right back. Hello, Metal family. So I'm excited for the next Immortal Fest. Such great bands, such great people. I hope you're going to be one of them. I'll be there hosting both events this summer. Really excited to spend time with the bands and to spend time with you. Sunday at the first event on the 28th of July will be the Sanctuary Day. We're going to have a service. We're going to have our worship team. We're going to have some special guests. We're going to have a good time. And I hope that you plan to come, and some surprises still to come too. So both events, first July 26th through 28th, and the other the first week of September. Great bands, great time together, family time. We are metal, we are family. I hope to see you there.
Sanctuarians and all you out there in the metal community, we are metal, we are family. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of Intense Dose. I'm Match, and today I have with me the lead singer and guitarist of the band As We Are. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and the name of your band?
My name is Dale Vaughn. I'm from Mount Vernon, Illinois, and the name of the band is As We Are.
As We Are.
As We Are.
That's like one of those millennial 3-name bands, right? You got to be the cool kid because all the 2-name bands are taken, and so now you got to go with 3. Right? I mean, where did As We Are?
Sure, that's definitely what the story was, for sure. No, As We Are is for transparency. That's really what As We Are is. Not being anything fake or ingenuine, but being real, being exactly who we are. Not expecting any false expectations of anyone. Just coming as you are and being part of what we're doing.
Well, since there's transparency, let's ask a little bit about the band. I know a lot of our watchers and listeners, readers, et cetera, want to know a little bit more about where the band comes from spiritually. Would you say that you guys are a complete Christian band? Like, how would you?
We we are definitely Jesus followers. Our music, some people may not think it's Christian enough because we're a very socially active band. So we talk about a lot of things maybe that the quote unquote Christian genre may not tackle, but we do. We talk very intently. I say we're a political band because political means that you're just involved in political affairs, not that you're talking about political figures or anything like that. It's just literally being aware of the culture that you're involved in. So I would say we're a very political band.
Well, that's cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, people can expect that. You know, there's like you said, a transparency, blatant band that's just straightforward, talking about their faith and then real life situations. I can dig it, man. And
Yeah.
what genre do you guys fall under?
So we've kind of evolved. We started out kind of like a pop punk type thing, and we've evolved into a post hardcore, kind of hardcore punk, hardcore melodic type band. So we still have a lot. We have more hardcore punk influence maybe than what we started out with because we were just kind of like a pretty punk band before. And now we're a gnarly, hardcore, break your face type band.
Would you, I mean, do I dare say the genre that it's just oversaturated these days? Would you say that you fall under metalcore?
No, not at
Okay.
all. I don't think we're really metalcore at all. I think we're more, I'd say we're more of the, man, melodic hardcore, maybe even a little bit of new metal
Right on.
genre with our own punk vibe to it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've listened to what you've given me and I've loved every second of it. And you do have breakdowns, and then you do have
Yes.
melodic vocal songs, and then you
Right.
do have like punky, crunchy stuff. I dig it, man. I really
Yeah.
dig it. I really,
Kind of like it's kind of like a wide spectrum of a buffet.
okay. As we are all things to all man and all the subculture, all the subgenres, you know, all kind of wrapped into
Right.
one. That's cool,
Sure.
man. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little bit more introduction since we've talked about you and your band and your genre and all that kind of stuff. If you don't mind, I'm just going to talk about how we've met the first time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We met 1 year at Audio Feed, and folks, let me tell you something. If you guys need a sound guy at a show or at a festival, this guy took it. He took it to the next level, and one of the sound guys didn't even show up in the other stage that we were working at in the tent that we were working at. And he's like, "Oh, guess what? I have a PA in my trailer." And boom, there was two stinking stages in the tent. It was amazing. It was amazing. And that's how I met Dale. We were sitting around talking, and I was like, "Dude, I've seen you sit at that board now for X amount of hours. Can I give you a lunch break? I'm a sound guy." And you were like, "Well, if you want, I just want to help everybody." And it was amazing. It was incredible. So forward another year, now Dale's doing sound for the Sanctuary stage at Audio Feed down on the track. It was amazing. And dude, you pulled out all the stops. It was incredible. We loved meeting you and working with you. And I loved introducing you to everybody and Pastor Bob and Chris Dorman and all of the Sanctuary ilk. It was great. Thank you. Thank you so much for hosting that. You know, at the end of the night on the second year, it was only you and a couple more people, and you dissected the whole tent and everything all by yourselves and loaded it up on your own tent, man. It's amazing. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, we did it. We did it in record time, like less than an hour, I think.
Right. Yeah. I
It
was
was pretty quick.
shocked. I
Yeah.
was shocked. And
Yeah.
let's segue more to what that birthed within you. So from what I understand, you have a ministry called the Subculture, and this year at Audio Feed, you are in the same place where the Sanctuary tent is, and you have the same amount of tents, I'm assuming. Do you have, I mean, tell me about what the subculture stage at Audio Feed's about.
So we went back last year. The sanctuary didn't come back last year, so we offered our services. We have a 20 by 40 tent, and we took a 20 by 40 tent and a 16 by 20 tent, and my cat just knocked over the toilet paper holder in case you heard a thud. But we took this to Audio Feed and ran our own stage, booked a lot of our own bands that we could get to come play for literally nothing because we don't have a budget. And then Audio Feed added their bands that wanted to play that they didn't have a spot for, that were willing to come, for minimal money to fill out our stage. We did worship and teaching every morning at 10 a.m. And then we closed out the evening after the bands with worship as well. We had a tent for merchandise. We served coffee and drinks. And so it was a 2-tent setup. This year, I plan on going back with 3 tents. We're going to do the 20 by 40 again for the stage. We're going to do about a 10 by 20 for load in and for the bands to chill in. And then we're going to have a merch tent, and then we want to have a coffee tent where we maybe have some worship going and people can just come and hang out. So it's going to be a whole community on the Audio Feed campground.
And that's amazing to me. I know that a lot of people have kind of given up on Audio Feed. They're like, well, that's not Cornerstone. And it's kind of, I think you're carrying that. I think that, you've probably had to deal with a lot of people's opinions and stuff. But the one thing about the subculture stage that we can pretty much bank on is that it's majority Christian bands, right? Unlike the rest of the festival, right?
Well, for instance, I don't know if we were the only stage, but I want to say, and maybe I'm not right in this, so don't mark my words, but I do believe, if we weren't the only one, we were one of the very few that were doing devotionals every morning. And that was really cool because people came out of the woodwork. Like, we did it the first day. We didn't know if anybody would show up. And we probably had 25, 30 people show up.
Right on.
And it just continued to grow. And the one thing about this Audio Feed was there were a lot of people coming and going. So like one day you might have one crowd. The next day you have another crowd. The next day you have another crowd. Because as far as whole festival passes, I'm not sure how many there were. So we had a constant flux of people, but it was pretty crazy because I guess people were talking about the stage through the whole festival. So we continued to snowball every morning. And I figured the last morning it might be pretty slim because a lot of people had, bands that had been there had to leave, and through the course of the weekend, some people left. So I thought maybe the last day might be, kind of weak. And we ended up probably with our biggest crowd that last day. And there were probably 40 people maybe there.
Wow.
It was pretty wild. So now there's a lot of hype about the stage. From that little thing that we did at Audio Feed, this year we're going to 2 other festivals. And then next year, we're probably going to be 6 or 7 festivals next year.
And what 2 festivals are you guys going to this year?
We're going to Audio Feed. We're going to Kingdom Come Festival. And then we're going to Rock in the River in Arkansas.
Cool. And these are both like Christian festivals, or is it a blend?
No, they're all Christian festivals. So yeah.
That's right on. That's right on. And, a lot of people balk at the fact that Audio Feed isn't 100% Christian. But, the truth is that when I was doing devotionals there in the mornings, 2 years ago, we had an atheist couple that came in and was like,
Yeah.
we're just going to tell you straight up that we're atheists. We don't believe in a lot of this, but we do like our Christian bands, and you guys seem pretty cool. And to me, like, that's really what it's all about. They can come to an event that's family friendly, that's not like smothered in pot, and like we can all kind of hang out and get to know people. And hey, there are some people that are seeking, and what better way to invite them to the Lord than to see a concert and a Christian band plays that really like speaks to their heart and gets them, and like they're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, maybe I'll give it a second shot or third shot or whatever, and they read the lyrics, and the next thing they know, God's leading people to them and they're praying for them, and I've kept the relationship with those people this whole time, and it's
Yeah.
it's been a really good relationship, and I think that's important.
I agree. And again, that goes back to as we are. I mean, it's pretty wild that as we are really correlates to the subculture as far as our mission and how it works. It all just kind of coincides together, because you can't do something like we do and be judgmental. You have to, you have to be able to let people come as they are, and you can't judge them for how they look, how they believe. You
And,
can't judge them by their sexual orientation. You can't judge them by anything. You
and
just
you
have to
guys don't
take.
only you guys don't only play Christian shows, right? You guys play at other
Right.
venues.
Yeah. So one of the testimonies I love to tell about when we were touring really heavily before COVID, we were in a bar, and I won't forget it. One of our favorite venues is in San Angelo, Texas, and we were playing in a bar, and there were these Harley rider dudes with the big beards and all that stuff, right? And so I like to always tell them stories, because we would, when we were on tour, we collect canned goods and blankets and sleeping bags. When we went into the city, we would hand those out to people we saw on the side of the road or wherever, right? And
So those
so,
are those are unhoused people. Some people call
right,
them
those are
homeless.
displaced people, yes. So,
Hmm.
um, anyway, so we had a lot of stories to tell, but I told the one story, and you look out across the crowd of people with beers in their hands and whatever, and these big burly dudes with tears running down their cheeks. And the one guy raises his mug and says, "Take us to church," and I didn't even say anything about church. All I did was talk about taking care of each other. But they get it. And so we're in the middle of a bar, probably close to 100 people, these bikers in there, and the biker, take us to church. So that's probably one of my favorite testimonies I could give you
That's
from that
awesome.
whole thing. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it's funny, in the biker community, a lot of us have the patch that says "I am my brother's keeper" on it. And
Yeah.
I think that inherently a lot of the family that bikers crave, like the framework comes from the word. And
Sure.
and I think that there's a brotherhood amongst believers that they crave, which is why there's a brotherhood in different biker communities. And I love the fact that you were not afraid, and that you just shared it as you were, and you were able to hit home with these guys. So we're talking about the subculture tent at the different events, the different festivals this summer. Tell us about subculture at home. So what I've heard is that you've got some other dealings that have to do with what you're talking about, coinciding with helping unhoused individuals and providing services in humanitarian aid locally, right?
So when COVID hit, the opportunity opened for me to have a building. And when I started, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. I knew I was going to do like a resale, and then I was going to take some of the profits and hand them off to a homeless shelter here in town and a warming center, because they were reaching out to the community. That was my original plan. Um, that building sold. I had to move. I got this other building, and then vision started working in me because I had a bigger space. So I put in a shower to let people come in and shower, just whoever, whether they were displaced or whether their water pipes just broke. I call it a community shower. And I really promoted what we were doing as a community store, not like a specific store, but not like a resale store, not like a retail store, but a community store, because I wanted to be community oriented. And so we started with that, and then we had an opportunity to start working in food a little bit. So we started a food bank. We put in a kitchen where we could cook meals for people. So within a short time of moving here, we had a community shower, we had a food bank, and we were starting to cook meals for people. And then
Wow.
we started doing discipleship classes, and then we started working with people that were addicts. So I mean, God just started opening up all these things for us to do, and uh, and not a lot of helpers to do it. So it could be very taxing.
Right.
But we have seen results. We are a place where our county jail knows we're here, and when people get out of jail, they send them here to get help, or if they got to do community service, they come here and do their community service here. We're like a place in town that people know what we do, and all that is under the subculture umbrella. The subculture is like this big umbrella, and it operates under a 501c3 called Good Hope Through Grace that we were given. So we have a 501c3 that was given to us, and what a name, Good Hope Through Grace.
That's amazing.
And under that, we have the umbrella of the subculture, and under that umbrella are so many different things going on right now. So, but we were able, for instance, last fall, we were able to send cases of coats and gloves to the Ukraine.
Wow.
We were able to send cases of coats and gloves and warm clothing and food to a new homeless shelter opening in Rockford.
Wow.
We were able to send blankets and pillows and clothing to 2 warming centers south of us in smaller towns. And now we are talking about expanding to 2 more stores in 2 different areas, just because of the opportunities and doors that God has brought us. So
When you say areas, do you mean like local cities or another state, or what do you mean?
both. So we have a couple that we've kind of helped get something going down south, and we are south for us is like maybe 45 miles south of us, and they're interested in doing what we're doing. But then we have a gentleman over on the coast of Nebraska that is interested in opening what we're doing. So we're looking at going all the way to Nebraska, which is a good ways from us. I don't know
That's the
exactly
drive,
how
man.
far that is, but yeah, it's a little bit far away. So,
And then do you have anybody in different bands helping you with this? Are you networking with guys that have been in bands or in bands?
So the only people that we've really dealt with in the music industry that help us here or have been a part of what we've done is Kevin Schlereth from AudioFeed. He came and did a concert with us and helped us do some food distribution while he was here. Other than that, we've not had a lot of people from the music community really get involved. It's been more so kind of what my goal was is to my theme is reconcile, train, send. And reconciling is very intense. It's more than just getting people converted to Christianity. It's in my position, it's bringing them from their street life they're used to and reprogramming them how to function in society, and then sending them. And where we're at right now is we have 3 recovery people working for us right now that have come out of of an addiction lifestyle, and maybe they would have trouble getting jobs outside of a situation like this, and they all three work for us right now. So
That's great. Well, man, I wish we could spend more time talking about this. Maybe
yeah,
we can do a follow-up and get back
anytime,
together
brother.
with you in a month and
Sure.
see how things are going for the summer. I mean, you've got some exciting plans. Is there any other plans for the band that we didn't gloss over for the summer? You got the festivals. Do you have
Right,
any other shows, like a tour lined up or anything like that?
dude. You know, we've talked. We would all love to do a tour at some point. It just has to be a beneficial thing. We're kind of past the point of doing all the DIY play for three people type thing. You know what I mean? Because we all, well, especially me. We're me and my wife. We're running like four businesses. So, not that we can't leave them to do something like that, but it really has to be something worth approaching. So
Mhm.
we're not opposed to doing something like that, but it would have to be something on a larger scale rather than just jumping and going across the country. You know what I mean? So
Well, maybe on a larger scale, maybe we can get you paid to play like Furnace Fest or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that'd be all right. We
or
definitely.
maybe we'll have to do more stages and we'll team up Sanctuary and the Subculture. We'll team up to do more stages at more festivals, and maybe we'll do like Life Fest or something, you know, and we'll
Well, we
host all the metal.
right. We have people reaching out to us now about coming to their city. So I've made emailed maybe two or three cities this past week that
Mhm.
want to bring a subculture stage to their city and build like a festival around it. So we'll see how that all
Right on.
turns out.
That sounds
Yeah.
exciting. So if people were trying to find you on the socials, Facebook, et
Sure.
cetera, what are your handles and or website?
Oh geez. So as we are is pretty simple. You can just go to asweareband.com. And everything is there. You can go for the others. We've got a community on Facebook called the Subculture Stage. It's an actual group. So you punch in the Subculture Community Stage, and it should bring you to that group. Our Facebook is the Subculture 618, I believe. So yeah, that would be how you reach that. Our stores, um, we have a Kingdom of Treasures, which is on Facebook. We have the Pink Elephant, which is on Facebook. And we have DIY Books, which is on Facebook and
That's
TikTok.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that your wife's thing? I
Yeah.
saw you smile and you looked over at her.
Yeah. She's the book junkie,
That's
coffee
cool.
junkie. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, maybe
So,
we'll have to send her some Headbangers Brew and see what she thinks of it.
I mean, you could do that. I'm sure she would hate it.
Well, that's
I
cool, man.
say that.
So,
I say that with total sarcasm because she loves to drink different coffees. So,
right? Well, we have a whole bunch. We have at least 14 flavors right now. So, we'll try to figure out where she fits in on her favorite
sure.
flavors. You know, maybe she could do a
Oh, man.
review for us, you know?
There you go.
So, listen, I'm going to wrap it up and give the keys back to Pastor Bob. But I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today and letting us know a little bit about As We Are and the subculture and all these other wonderful things that you've got going on. You know, it sounds like you're putting your faith into action, and you're one of those kind of people that I appreciate for doing that, man. And I look forward to seeing and hearing any other music that you've got coming up. You can count me in as a fan.
Thank you. Appreciate
Of
it,
course.
man.
All right, man. God bless. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you so much. I appreciate that match and appreciate that, Dale. Dale Bond has been a great friend to this ministry for so many years, and we love him and everything that he's doing and look forward to working with him again in the future. It'd be great. So, a couple things as we wrap up today, a couple events coming up. Sunday, May 26th, right here. We do our, we call it 242 at the storehouse. There it is. And of course, this is the next gathering right here, June 1st and June 2nd. We have this coming up. Every single Sunday we meet at 9:30 for Teach, Meet, Eat, Pray, and a great time together. On the 26th, before our gathering, we're just doing a Striper morning. And some of you have heard that there's a big Striper documentary coming out, the official Striper documentary coming out. And we will have the whole film crew here, the producer, and they want to do some interviewing. They're going to, film Sanctuary in process and all of that for the official Striper documentary. If you're in the Tennessee area or the Nashville area, come and join us, 9:30 Sunday, May 26th. And then following the weekend, our gathering. And the gathering will be June 1st and June 2nd. I would love to have you here. Such a great time together. And folks, don't forget, the new book is out. Somebody said, where do we get it? You can get it wherever books are sold. And it's available in paperback, and also in the Kindle version as well. So you can get it in both. And people said, should I buy that or should I buy the original one? Buy this one. This is just like the original one with more stuff. And so I'm going to discontinue the first one and we'll just go to the second one. And I'm excited, folks. If you have the first one, update it. We will have this in our store probably within a week or so. And I'm happy to personally sign them to you. So if you'd like to wait for that, that'll happen as well. We'll announce it when it does. And that is the new Seriously Devotional Edition. Folks, thank you so much for joining me today. I love having you here. And join me every day for Pastor Bob's Coffee Break right here in this chair. I do it every single day. And again, so good to spend time with you. And as I say every single week and every day, don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.
Hey guys, DJ Rev here with the Warriors Night Out Radio broadcast. Join us every week right here for 60 minutes of the best soul-shaking, bone-shattering, spirit-charging, faith-based rock and metal. Break the cycle! Featuring all your favorite hard rock and heavy metal favorites from across the U.S. and around the world. The Warriors Night Out Radio broadcast, the war cry of the faceless generation. Be sure to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X at WNO Rocks.